Good morning, Lansing Journal readers and subscribers. We are out on a brisk November Friday morning in front of Kasey's Banquet Hall, Restaurant, and Lounge. We're going to talk with Matthew Martinez inside, learn a little bit about his business, how his business has dealt with the pandemic, and some renovations that they've been doing.
Yeah, they recently reopened. The renovation process was long, as a lot of things are post-pandemic. But they are reopened now, and Matthew is excited to show us the space. They've been having events here.
Yep.
I saw a concert and the chamber lunch. So they are open for business, and we're going to go inside and see what things look like.
All right, we are here with Matthew Martinez this morning. Matthew, thanks for taking a moment to sit down with us.
My pleasure.
Inside the newly renovated, this is the lounge we're in right now, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so tell us about the renovation process a little bit for the whole of Kasey's. Tell us what's been happening the last few months and years.
Years, if you want to go that far back. I've been a board member now, I should explain. The for-profit side of things here at Kasey's is managed by the Clumbing Club of Lansing. A lot of people have a misconception lately, and I'll explain what that means in a moment too,
Sure.
because there's a lot of history here. This is a Knights of Columbus Hall. Has always been, always will be, because it was built by the members of the Knights of Columbus. I'm actually a member of the Knights of Columbus.
Okay.
And I got involved with the for-profit side of things because the Knights of Columbus are a non-for-profit when this facility was built. This facility was built in the 1950s by Knights, for Knights, to do things for the Knights of Columbus. Since, of course, the Knights can't make money, a corporation was formed to create the Columbian Club of Lansing, which renovates and runs this facility. So that being said, moving forward, and that's been a lot of years since we've done this, I've been on the board for quite some time, and we would literally sit at this bar, members and myself, and look and say, wow, this place really needs to be updated. So a bunch of board members and I were here once, and we really took a deep, hard look and was like, well, how could we do this? So now as you start to dream and you have an empty slate like the old Etch-a-Sketch,
Okay.
you shake it up and you start to redesign it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did. We took this place out like a clean slate, and we just started from the ground up. To start the process here was to get the floor off. Because now when you look down at our floor, it's a beautiful epoxy.
Yeah.
Which is something that you could normally see like in a garage sometimes or in other halls. But we decided to go this route for a couple different reasons. One, visually it's beautiful, and two, it's very low maintenance. And I say that now because we have a problem with maintenance. It's just sometimes you want something quick and easy.
Right.
To come back up, what we used to have down here before was just old paneling. Now we have this beautiful brick that we outline the outside of the bar, as well as our new railing, because we used to have a brass railing that you could put and rest your feet.
Sure.
Now it's a beautiful silver railing. Coming on up, this bar was put together by a couple of our brother Knights who were volunteers, by the way, which all of us who did all of renovation for the most part in this room were volunteers for the Knights. This bar, everything from the bar up was torn down, brand new fitting of the bar, brand new brick, brand new laid out wood and stained and varnished for here for the rooftop, the bar top, as well as all the way around. So
It's very nice. These chairs are comfortable too, I have to say. I'm liking the chairs.
We voted ourselves the most popular softest chairs in Lansing. So
there you go.
We hope that sticks.
The self-vote, yeah.
Correct, yeah. We'll challenge any bar, anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
Give us your chairs.
So Kasey's Banquet Hall,
Yes.
Lounge, and restaurant.
Correct.
So tell me, is the restaurant currently open?
It is not.
Okay.
We have a couple different reasons why. The Columbian Club leases that out to our new caterers, which happens to be the Cookout. And before that was Ace Catering, before that was the other company. Since the Cookout is in charge of that is their responsibility to open it. Believe me, we would love to have the restaurant open. We want to have families to come in because we're finding more and more as we start to advertise these beautiful specials in our menu, people are like, well, I have a 4-year-old, I have a young person, or even I have boys of my own that are young, and I tell them, well, only 2 of you can come out because I have 3 boys. And the other one's like, huh? And believe me, so we're working on that with our new caterer because like everything, unfortunately, during this pandemic, kind of one of the entrails, unfortunately, is that people just don't want to work. And unfortunately, our new caterers are finding that issue to be the same, is that they can't find wait staff, they can't find bussers, they can't find, people to help out in the restaurant.
So how long has the cookout, because I remember Ace Catering, how long
Correct.
has the cookout been the caterer here?
When we closed in 2019, we were kind of turning the corner around the pandemic. Ace Catering's contract was not renewed in 2019.
Okay.
So we actually did a search. The cookout was the one that was the most flexible and seemed more eager to want to work with us.
Okay.
So,
And so even though the restaurant is not open, that's
Correct.
not to say there's not food available.
Correct.
It's the cookout that supplies food that you can
Yes.
order in the lounge.
oh,
is that
absolutely.
right?
Or you can
Okay.
even take it out, because we've
Okay.
had people call in and say, hey, look, I want to order a sandwich or whatever.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can still come on in, grab your food, and take it out. Again, it's just part of being open now is getting that word out to let people know that we are open. We can't be open for a restaurant necessarily. If it's couples, come on in, great. But there's only, and as you can see in the size of this room versus the size of the room in our hall versus the size of the room in the restaurant, there's a huge size difference. So
Yeah.
obviously, if we can get in there, we can get more people, more families, and kind of get that piston firing in the engine, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Right. So this room, and is it the banquet hall as well that's been renovated?
Yes, both banquet halls have been renovated, the hallways and our restrooms.
Okay. So I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier.
Sure.
So you said the Knights of Columbus are a separate entity from the business arm
Yes.
of you said the Columbian Club of Lansing?
Yes.
So explain a little more about how it shakes out exactly.
Absolutely. To give you a little history, again, like I mentioned before, this facility was built by Knights for Knights to do things in the neighborhood.
And when was that? Do you know?
That was in 1958.
Okay. What are the Knights of Columbus?
Sure. Knights of Columbus is a Catholic men's fraternal organization.
Okay.
So if you were to approach me on the street outside of this interview, I would ask you 3 questions if you're interested in joining. Are you a man? Obviously. Are you past the age of 18? I certainly hope so. And are you Catholic? Those are the only 3 things you
Okay.
would need to, if you said yes to all 3, you can join.
Okay.
And with the way things are now with our head office, you can actually join online. Later on in the late 90s to early 2000s, our Supreme Office came in and said, well, if you have a home corporation, which is what we do, which is the Columbian Club of Lansing, and if you meet there, our Supreme Office said, you need to separate both entities. Because our Supreme Office said one day that we don't want any connotation of the Knights of Columbus with incidents happening at your hall. So because of that, that's why what happened in the late 90s to early 2000s, a use distribution agreement was made between the council and the Columbian Club of Lansing. Both entities now are separate.
Okay.
Before, it used to be just Knights of Columbus was here, that's it, they ran the facility, no problem. Columbian Club was just an entity that on paper saying, hey, we're legally, corporately involved with this.
Sure.
But I can tell you now, as being a member and currently the president for the Columbian Club of Lansing, I'm also still a Knight. In
Okay.
fact, all board members are only Knights. It's
Okay.
still open only to Knights membership.
Where does the name Kasey's come from?
Kasey's was a name, and if you could look at a little dude right here, his name is Kasey. It was an entity that we had just designed one day. We wanted just a little logo, a little moniker to kind of just say, hey, we need to start branding, separating ourselves from the Knights. So we kind of adopted our little guy who was part of our history in terms of regalia for gentlemen who are 4th degree for the Knights. They would wear the chapeau, the hat, and the cape, and they have the swords.
Oh, okay.
And the name came from and you can see this is actually the old spelling of the name, because we can't get new shirts. I'll explain that in a minute.
Okay.
It was for Case, Ace. Ace is our old caterer that we have had for 16 years.
Sure.
So ACE, Kasey's ACE was the name for the caterer that we had adopted to bring in with our new branding of the name. Now, since they're no longer with us, we've readopted and rebranded the name to be Kasey with an S.
Okay.
No longer with a C, because Ace Catering is no longer with us. So.
And so KC, Knights of Columbus.
Knights-
Is that where the
exactly.
KC comes from? Okay.
Correct, yes.
So even the logo is a nod to the very tight
Yes.
union between
Oh yeah.
the business arm and the Knights of Columbus.
Yes,
Okay.
we can't have one without the other.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
could not have had, and I'm hoping most viewers and people will come in and see, we will not have this beautiful bar, the beautiful hall, the hallways, renovated bathrooms. None of it's possible without the blood, sweat, and tears of many volunteers that came in here to make sure that this was up to snuff and updated. So that's why, again, I would be remiss if I wanted to change this, and I honestly wouldn't in my heart of hearts. So.
So what kind of events and promotional things are you you looking to in the future here to get people into this building to see the renovations and make some money?
Well, we're hoping that we get more bookings. That's number one. That's our bread and butter. Recently, and this is what the council does, and I'll do a shameless plug if you don't mind me just a moment.
Yeah.
Rick Cicito, who is a very famous and very knowledgeable Elvis impersonator, is coming back to our hall. It's going to be located here at the facility on Friday, September 17th. This is now a council event for the Knights of Columbus. So
Okay.
so it's not our event, but it's being held at the hall. So we're hoping that people, again, will come on out and see Rick, buy a ticket, enjoy the evening. It's a dinner and a show for $35. There we go. I'll throw it up there. It's a dinner and a show for $35. We're trying to make sure it's affordable for people because I know sometimes people aren't back to work or not working for whatever the case might be. I'm hoping that they will, the little light will go off in their head and they'll be like, yeah, I do want to have a party here. I do want to have an event here. Or, you know what, I can have that birthday or that, celebration of life ceremony, because we've had a lot of people calling interest saying, well, we want to reschedule this. Absolutely, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here for folks to do whatever they would like to do. Weddings, quinceañeras, whatever. We'll give you what we got.
Very good.
So
I think we're going to take a quick tour and show you a little bit of the new renovated facilities now.
All right, just to give you some quick highlights of what we've done in the bar. Other than the epoxy floors, which I hope will grab your eye once you come in, hope you look up and realize that we have changed the lighting and the fixtures. We did add a couple TVs. We have a new TV on that wall. We used to have a giant TV on that wall, but we've kind of split it off. We have more viewing to see what kind of beverages we do offer. The storage does bump out a little bit more. We do have a storage room back here. Majority of our alcoholic beverages are stored there, so that way if our bartenders need to get something, they don't have to leave this room.
Yeah.
They just go right behind there, grab whatever cases or bottles they need. They come on out, they're ready to rock and roll again.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
Yep.
So this is the lounge area. Let's make our way, to the banquet hall next,
Banquet hall,
perhaps?
sure. What you see before you is our newly renovated hall. We took out all the chandeliers because if you look at each light, a vast majority of these lights all had chandeliers. We decided to take out all the chandeliers and change out the lighting as well as the sconces on the wall. So now we have one center focus of a main chandelier, a couple different lights to make it not as bright because a lot of these lights are halogen, so they're brighter than the older lights we had before. We have brand new carpeting as well as a brand new dance floor. Our old floor used to be one piece. This is now in 3x3 swatches, so unfortunately if we have a small stain, we don't have to pull up the entire carpet to clean it.
Sure.
We can take out that little swatch and clean it. And we do have a new dance floor here. All of your needs in terms of if you want to have dancing, you want to have a DJ on here, it's all ready and brand new for you to enjoy. And this is our smaller of the two catering halls. The hall we were in just was a moment ago was called our main hall. This is our Lakeside Hall. And as you can see, it is a little smaller. This will seat between 50 to 100, maybe 110 people at the maximum.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So these are the renovated spaces. We don't have
Correct.
to check out the bathrooms. We can let people imagine what those are like. I'm sure
Yes.
they're very nice.
Correct. This is the renovated spaces that we'd like people to come out and enjoy.
Very good.
So,
Well, you heard it here. This is Kasey's. Mostly everything is renovated.
correct.
They're ready to host your event. They're ready to serve you food with the new catering company.
Absolutely.
Come
The
and grab a
cookout.
drink.
Correct,
Cookout.
yes. And we do serve food on Wednesdays through Sundays. And we also, during the Bears games at 12 noon on Sundays, we'll also give you free food during the halftime.
And normally the food Wednesday to Sunday starts at 5?
5 p.m., correct. And there
Very
is for
good.
takeout. You could dine in, or you can pick it up here to have it here at the bar, or take it out, like I mentioned.
Awesome. Well, this is Matthew Martinez with Kasey's, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.